So you find that job posting for a job that seems pretty intriguing and you decide to give it a click. And it's only then that you discover some of the really dumb expectations that some companies put on the candidates. And stick around because in this video, I'm going to share with you 6 of my biggest pet peeves in the hiring process. Hey everybody, it's Brian from A Life After Layoff, and today we're going to be talking about stupid stuff that employers do in the interviewing process. I was a corporate recruiter and an HR professional with over 20 years of experience interviewing and hiring thousands of people into some of the world's largest and most well-known companies. I know a thing or two about good talent acquisition and not so good talent acquisition. In TA, we talk a lot about this concept of candidate experience. World-class organizations concern themselves with the entirety of the hiring cycle because it could mean the difference between hiring that top talent or letting it slip away to the competitor. So what is candidate experience? Simply put, it's the experience that the candidate has throughout the entire hiring process. You see, some employers are just disconnected from the reality of the job-seeking market. And in a buyer's market, you have options. So you're not going to tolerate bad talent acquisition and bad candidate experience in order to get a job. You're simply just going to go somewhere else and accept a better offer with a company that actually takes it seriously. So let's jump into some of the stupid things that employers make you do in the interviewing process. But before we get too far into it, if you're interested in more videos just like this one directly from a corporate recruiter, make sure you hit the subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss any future posts, make sure you hit that notification bell. And I'm curious, if you've experienced any of these yourself, leave a comment below and let me know what it was. The first one is having an out-of-date ATS system. Applicant tracking systems were nice when they first came out. It helped companies organize candidates and organize jobs to make the hiring process smoother. But some of the older systems have become bloated and cumbersome. And if companies don't make a concerted effort to modernize and keep up with the trends, they're going to fall behind. From a candidate perspective, when I upload a resume, that should be it. I shouldn't still have to fill out a manual application. All it is duplicate work, and it just frustrates the candidate. And as a recruiter myself, I honestly never really look at the manual application anyway. I usually just go straight to the resume and check that out. And quite frankly, there have been times as a job seeker where I've actually abandoned the application because it was so antiquated. Because to me, that was an indicator if they're this far behind on this technology, what other things are they going to be far behind on? It just shows me that they're not investing in their business, and I'm going to use that as an indicator that they're not going to invest in me either. So employers, if you're working off of antiquated ATS systems that are archaic and out of date, get with the times and modernize because your competitors are leaving you behind. So the next issue that I have is actually related kind of to the first one. It's antiquated systems where they actually require you to sign up and make an account. If I'm in an active job search mode and I'm applying to a dozen jobs at a time, I really don't want to set up an account for each one of them. It's cumbersome, it slows me down, and if I don't get that particular job, it's just a bunch of wasted time. Now, the only time I would say that this is probably a good thing is if there's a company where you have multiple positions that you might be interested in applying to. And the nice thing about that is once you create that account, you can apply to different jobs without having to go through the application process all again. However, we don't want to apply to too many jobs at the same time because it'll look like we don't have focus. And it's inevitable that you're going to start getting spammed by this company about a bunch of unrelated jobs that you weren't interested in to begin with. And if you get rejected, your name is just on a list of a company that didn't even want you to begin with. So what kind of candidate experience is that? Essentially what it is the employer wanting to create a pool of candidates that they can then try to recruit from at a later date. But from a candidate's perspective, we're asked to invest all of this time and energy for something that's going to have a very low likelihood of resulting in a positive interaction. And I've seen some world-class companies who are really good at talent acquisition where you can apply in literally 4 clicks of a mouse. And the thing is they get all the same information from you that the other one does. It's just a lot better candidate experience. So the next annoying thing is companies that require a cover letter. Listen, in this day and age of LinkedIn and all these other social media tools, requiring a cover letter is just an antiquated thing because we can find out a lot about a candidate in other ways. And honestly, if you're a recruiter watching this and your company requires that cover letter, are you really reading it? And I'll say for myself, I probably read only 5% of the cover letters that come my way. It's not that I'm not interested in what you have to say, it's just that there's a huge volume of applications and I've got to get through them quickly. So if you're requiring that cover letter, it's time to stop that practice. It's not really adding value and it's only making candidates jump through more hoops. The next issue that I have in the hiring process is companies that require specific industry experience. Now, we've all seen it before. You see a role that you know you could do and you could do well. But when you look at the job posting, it requires 5 years or more of specific industry experience. Yet the skills are transferable, but you're not going to qualify because you lack that particular industry. Now, there are probably some valid reasons why a company might want a specific industry experience, but for a majority of roles, I'm going to say that this is obsolete. In reality, very few jobs truly require industry experience in order to be successful. Employers are eliminating potential rock star candidates because they lack something that can be developed in the matter of weeks or months. The next major thing that I see happen frequently in the application process is employers who are asking you what your previous salary was. Employers really aren't supposed to be asking you that, and in a lot of cases, that's actually an illegal question. Why is it an illegal question? Because you should be compensated for what you are worth on the open market and not what a previous employer paid you. And if you're unfortunate enough to be with an employer who undervalued your services, that shouldn't follow you around the rest of your career. And if the company's asking for this in their application process, I would just go find a better opportunity, because it's unlikely that you're going to get paid what you're worth on the open market. Okay, so the last major thing I want to talk about in today's video is requiring references. If you're requiring references at the application stage, we're going to judge you as being out of touch. Besides, references are a very touchy subject legally, and most employers are very reluctant to give out much information at all because there's too much liability. Besides, who's going to give out less than a glowing reference? Although I actually have had some candidates give me some bad references, so I guess a little bit of a head scratcher there. But the point of this is that references are unnecessary and frankly, they're out of date. All right, so I just listed out 6 annoying things that employers make candidates go through in the interviewing process. And that's not all of them. I actually have another video planned with even more annoying things that employers are asking candidates to do. But if you're somebody that is struggling in the interviewing process and you're not even getting your foot in the door, that's actually something that I specialize in. I've got a website called alifeafterlayoff.com. It's loaded with tips and tricks, all from a recruiter's perspective. And I've also got some of my deepest and most intimate knowledge in the form of some training courses. The first one is called Resume Rocketfuel. It's designed to teach you exactly how to write a resume that's going to get you the best chance of getting noticed by the recruiter in order to get that first interview. Once you get the first interview, it's up to you to then sell yourself throughout the rest of the process to ultimately land that offer. And that's where the ultimate job seeker bootcamp comes into play. And in the course, I teach you everything from job search strategy all the way through acing each step of the interviewing process and ultimately landing that perfect offer. So if you're struggling in your job search, make sure you check it out. Hey, appreciate you watching. Happy job hunting. We'll see you on the next one.